Hey guys, so I used to love the Paddington books when I was a kid, so much so that as an adult, yes, as a grown woman, I bought myself a Paddington teddy bear. He's even got his little suitcase and everything. It's so adorable. But as much of a fan as I was of the first two movies, and they are some of those standout children's movies that I think even adults can really enjoy and connect to. And I've watched the first two movies many times, so I was going into this with my hopes high, really wanting to enjoy it. But I've got to say, unfortunately, it was a bit of a letdown for me. So I feel like my main problem was the first two movies were so heartwarming and charming and funny. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely those moments in these movies. It definitely made me chuckle a few times. Not in the same way as the first two movies, but the humour was there. It was very hit and miss, but it was there. But my main problem was the director. We had a different director than the first two movies, and he just felt tonally off. He didn't bring the same quality to the third movie. It just felt a bit soulless. And then they had a different actress playing Mrs. Brown than the first two movies. And, obviously Mrs. Brown isn't, a huge deal, but still, it just felt different. The first actress was better. It just felt a little jarring seeing this new person in there. So it was sweet and it had good morals and lessons for children. I wasn't a fan of the fact that this movie had singing in it. I felt like it definitely didn't need the musical aspect. Mr. Brown, he was definitely my favourite part of the movie. I felt like most of the humour that did land with me was from Mr. Brown. So I like that they brought Paddington and family into the jungle. I love movies set in the jungle. But at the same time, I do miss that London atmosphere. Some of the dialogue was truly awful and the villains didn't work for me. I knew from the start that the nuns would be the villain in some way because they're not going to have a religious person in a movie these days and not have them as a villain. Then there's Antonio Banderas. Sorry if that's a spoiler if you're super invested in this movie, but it's pretty obvious from the start. He's so over the top and campy. And yes, this is a kid's movie, and there's obviously been like Hugh Grant. He was really over the top in his own way in the second movie, but he did a great job. And then in the first movie, Nicole Kidman, she was a villain that actually did creep you out a bit. So I really liked the villains in the first two movies, but in the third movie, they just dropped the ball. They felt lame and just uninspired and lazy, to be honest. So I would say this is a 7 out of 10. I was tempted to go with 6, but I'll go with 7. So let me know if you've seen it, what you thought of it down below. Please comment. Let me know your thoughts on what you think is the best Paddington movie. And just give this video a like or subscribe if you want to. That would really help me out. And I'll see you in the next video.